Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Five Peaks is a walking trail in the woods nature type of game. There's another game that came out that's like its big brother, although there's no connection between the games, called Trailblazers, where you would walk through these paths. It's a really complicated Euro game, which, spoiler alert, we like a lot. Five Peaks is a smaller, almost like a deck building game where you're gaining cards and putting them into your deck and you're able to play those out and walk around the path. And what you try and do is get like berries, etc. Sometimes you have to put those together and combine them in certain ways in order to get points. And as you're going through, not so much to get points, it's to get these landscapes of things that you saw and experienced, and those give you points. So it's a very interesting game where you start out, you're just kind of walking around, you don't really have any equipment and stuff, and you're picking up it along the way, which really isn't thematic. You come with the stuff, you don't pick it up as you go. But there has to be a board game here, and I think it works great. This game was a game that we ended up playing at random on a Dice Tower cruise. I'd never heard about it. It was on the shelf. It had a good play time. Kind of fit in what we want to do and liked the theme, so we sat down and learned it. Very quick to learn. We learned it right from the book. We were able to learn it and able to play it. The artwork, we really enjoyed. The landscape, the nature theme of walking through, we really enjoyed that also. And we had a blast playing this game, and we ended up playing like 2 or 3 more times on the cruise at different times, just picking it up, hey, let's play Five Peaks again, let's play Five Peaks again. We immediately bought it, had it delivered by the time we got home, and played it again once we got home. We wanted to share it with our kids because they weren't on the cruise with us. And what a fantastic time that we had. This is a really easy, lighter, light-esque type deck builder where you're kind of walking around, but it's not just about getting your deck and turning it out. You're wanting to accomplish things on the board. Now, how can I do this? I need to move 2 spaces. I got this. I got that bonus. I need to get to that berry, but if I moved over here, I could get it over here, plus that, and I can convert that over. But it's a spatial puzzle that you're putting together, too, because you might go here just to get what you want, but then we need to cash it in, it's way over here, so maybe you're better off going over there and getting half of what you need, then bumping this, taking more actions, but you're closer together. We can kind of combo those things in a little bit. Now, I want to do all that, but do I have the cards to make that happen? Let me kind of puzzle this out while it's somebody else's turn. That way when it's my turn, I can boom, boom, boom. There's not a whole lot of interaction between the players. There's a little bit, but not a whole lot where it's like I can't go ahead and get my turn ready. The board isn't necessarily going to change, is guess what I'm getting at. A little bit, and sometimes, but most times it won't. So I'm able to kind of think about what I want to do on your turn, and when it comes back to me, I'm ready to go, and that really keeps the AP down and keeps the downtime of the game down, because I'm always thinking about what I want to do. How can I play these cards in order to accomplish my goals? And I end up score these points quickly. Do I want to rush the end, or do I want to kind of hold back and maybe go for bigger scoring things and let you kind of end it when you want to end it? And that has a push-pull of what I want to do there. A lot of different options in this game. What you do on a turn is easy. Like most deck builders, you're kind of hamstrung by what cards you draw, but there are options inside of that, and you can go any way you want. It's a puzzle. How am I going to put all this together? What is going to be most efficient for me? What am I going to draw next time? What am I likely to draw next time? What am I kind of pushing myself to do? And did my plans work out? Excellent game. Great, great, great fun, and all in a light, tight, very quick to play, very easy to teach game. One I highly recommend. It might be my sleeper hit of the year. Five Peaks is one you need to check out. Excellent game and a definite keeper for us. Here's Five Peaks, the board game. You can see a very attractive cover. It has like a water art to it, and a guy's getting ready to go hiking, which definitely tells you about the game. Inside, you're going to get a rule book, which we'll take a look at in a few minutes. You're going to have a really nice insert inside. So it has a little piece of plastic that goes over it. You have a place for your scoring. You're going to have these stones that you'll be using. These are great. Your silk screened little hiker guy that will come in different colors. This is probably the biggest letdown. It's just like these smiley faces. We just kind of laughed at those. And they're cardboard. You're going to have your scoring tokens here that are really nice and different ones. You're going to have your tiles, which are super thick. All the icons on it are very easy to see. You're going to have your backpacks that hold a certain amount of things on them. And then you're going to have your little bits and your goodies that you'll be able to get when you're out there. You can see they're shaped like they should be. Your tiles are going to be good. You're going to have your starting tile, which has the icons on it. The rest of them are very easy to see what you're going to have. These are very thick and very nice. And finally, you're going to have your cards. All the different cards you're going to have, they're fine. They're not the greatest cards in the world, I suppose. I do like the little artwork on them. The icons are pretty easy to use. These smiley faces always crack us up. But I do like the look of the game. It has a charm to it, I think that does. And the insert is pretty good. As you can see, I had to run some stuff in here. There wasn't directions about where everything went. That was a bummer. But for the most part, and it came with a little pencil here if you want to keep your score. We use an app, but that's a nice little touch. So components are really good. And this is, I think, a smaller company that made this. I gotta say, they really did a bang-up job here. Here's a rulebook for 5P, because you can see it tells you how many people, how long it should take you to say. And here's a picture of all the components over here. Everything you're going to have is nicely labeled. Excellent job. And I really enjoy when they did it in the game. Setup is going to have a picture of how setup would be. A little bit of a background here, which is cute. Numbers corresponding to where everything goes. So far, very professional. Sequence of play is going to tell you what the starting cards do, which is great. These are the ones you're going to start out with and how to expand the board. And then what the little spaces do, some peak tiles. This is probably the most confusing part over here. This could have been done a little bit better. The resources on your board, all of that makes sense. You have examples, italicized, and full color pictures. And the book is a nice size. The rewards that you'll gain, the panoramics, how that works, and how the game ends, and how to score up with an example. Everything here is very, very professional. And then they blow your mind. They go through every single card. You got examples. You got detailed explanations that what they do. Every single card in the game. Excellent. A fact on the back, which is great. There aren't the best player aids, but the game is pretty simple. You'll pick it up in no time. Very simple game to play. So the game's going to be set up. You're going to have a panoramic that you're going to try to get. So you're going to try to get all 6 of these. That will end the game. Each one of these will be worth a number of victory points, and the 6th one is worth quite a bit more than the 5th. And you'll have a stack of these based on the number of players available. So you have to buy 1 before you buy 2, before you buy 3, before you buy 5. Also, if all the tiles are placed on the board, you'll be placing these tiles, greens, then browns, then the rocky ones. Once all these are out, that could end the game. So 2 of 3, building a panoramic, putting all the tiles out, or somebody putting out all their stones, that will trigger the end of the game. At the end of the game, then you'll add up your victory points that you have on these cards. You'll have victory points, which I'll explain, for putting stones out. And you have some camping cards that look like this, and some of these will have victory points. So for every blueberries you have is 5 victory points. For every one of the camping tokens you get is 3. For every endorphin you have, you get a victory point. So those are other ways to score victory points. Whoever has the most victory points at the end of the game is the winner. Everybody's going to start out with a hand of cards. I'll show you what the starting cards do. This one's very simple. You move your person 1 space. You can play your card down, move 1 space. When you stop on a space, you get that goodie. So in this case, I would get one of these. I would put it in my backpack. And of course, I can only hold so many before it's full. So that I could play this one, very simple, just like the one I just played, except for, let's say I was here, you can move 2 spaces. So instead of getting this, I would get a mushroom. And that will help you move around the board a little bit quicker. Now, it's important to note that when it says 1 or 2, it's not up to. It's exactly that in the mini stasis. You have a card like this. This card right here will let you buy one of the face-up cards. So let's say I wanted to buy this card. This card will let me move 4 spaces. I would have to have 4 endorphins in order to buy that. If I wanted to buy this one, which let me clears out the deck and then get another one, it would cost me 1 endorphin. This one right here, for 3 endorphins, I could buy this. This lets me go anywhere, 1 space, even if there's not a trail on it. So I can go through like the woods and stuff. So that's pretty neat. So that's what this card is going to do. Or I can discard a card from my hand. It can't be one of the starter cards, one of the cards that you buy, and I can get 2 endorphins for my trouble. This one allows me to put another tile out. So if I'm on this tile, anywhere on that tile, I can take the next tile and add it to one of the corners. So I could go here, and when I do, I get 2 mushrooms. Maybe I'd want to put it here, and I would get 2 blueberries. I'm not going to be on that location. Anywhere on this tile, I can play this down, and then I get those goodies. So I'm going to get 2 blueberries right off the bat for that. And that would go into my backpack. If I didn't want to do that, I could give up 1 of these, mushroom, berry, or the wheat, as many as I wanted to, and I get 1 endorphin each. The last one allows me to buy one of these panoramic cards. So for example, the first panoramic card would cost me 1 berry, 1 mushroom, and 1 wheat, which I happen to have. So I would give those up to the supply, and I would gain this panoramic, and I'd be starting on my way. I would get 2 endorphins for my trouble. Now, let's say I couldn't afford that or didn't want to purchase one for whatever reason. I can just take 2 endorphins. And this back here lets me pick up all my cards. So it's important to note that I don't have to use all my cards before I pick them up, but I can't pick that card up and use it again until I play this card and pick it up. So no time during the game can you ever discard one of your starting cards. Now the trick to the game is going to be to get these cards. For example, this one will let me trade 2 of the sweet end for a bag of flour. I put one in my backpack and one in my location. So these will be cards, equipment cards, that will change the rules of the game up and make things easier for you as you're moving around. Some of these spots on the board that you'll go to will be like this, where it says if I give it 3 mushrooms, I get a basket. And this basket's going to be really, really important because as you get here in the higher level ones, they're going to be required on these cards. Another thing that's really important are these locations right here. You play 2 berries and a wheat, and you get to put out one of these trails. Each one's going to have a different colored back, so this one right here is going to be a green back. You can also see it from the front of it. So I will grab one of these, which has a green back, and I can place it in between 2 tiles, kind of filling in that location. When I do that, I get one of the scoring chits, the badges, that says, hey, I discovered this, and I get 3 victory points for my trouble. As you get up into the higher ones, they're going to be worth more and more points. So a forest one will be worth 6, and a mountain one will be worth 12. So they can definitely jump up for you in the victory points. What these locations are going to do, really they do nothing when you place them. You just get the victory point for placing them out, and you're good. If you're able to get to that location, that's great. Then you can put one of your stones out there, and you can choose whatever stone you want. If you look closely, you can see that even though they're the same number on them, one's bigger than the other. That's for gameplay purposes. So what I can do at that location, I can choose whichever one I want to put. Say I want to put this one out, the 2. That means at the end of the game, I'm going to get 2 victory points times 2. That's going to be worth 4 victory points. And it's going to give me a free equipment card that I can pick up here for free. That's what this one is going to do. Now, let's say somebody else came along and they were going to go there also. They can put another one. They can put their own little scoring on it as long as it's smaller. So this is the smaller of the times 2. The yellow person could not come through and put the big yellow on it because it's bigger than the one I have. So sometimes you can be very strategic about which of these stones you're putting out. Obviously, if I put the smallest one, nobody else can go there. It's only worth 2 points to me. Or if I put maybe the small one of the blues, that's worth 4, but then I'll have it to play somewhere else. Maybe I want to block a more powerful or more high-scoring spot. So those are decisions that you'll make during the game. Now, most of the game is going to be using the cards to move around, getting the stuff that you land on, and being able to trade them in to get the higher-scoring cards. Like this one costs 2 finished baskets, a blueberry, and a bag of flour. So that one's going to be a big one. You can see this one, you don't have to combine anything. It's just a blueberry, mushroom, and a wheat, which you get. But here I got to convert them into things. So it can be a little bit more difficult as the game progresses. And it's going to be sprawling out as you put all of the tiles down. And you can see that there's a bunch of these that will be added to the board. So the board will be really big and you'll be going other locations. One thing to note is that somebody's on a spot. Let's say you can move 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, if somebody's in a spot, it doesn't count. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. Whenever you land on a spot with somebody else, it doesn't count as one of the spaces that you're moving to. Now, whenever you get a campfire card, and you'll get these from the board, you always draw 5 of these. You're going to get to keep 1, whichever one you want. Some of them will give you power. So, for example, whenever I lay down one of these rocks tiles, I can lay down 2 instead. It doesn't give me any victory points, but that, in effect, will. This one allows me to move 2 spaces, but every time I stop, I get the goodie. So usually if I move 2 spaces, I would only get the spot that I land on. When I have this power, whenever I move over a spot, I'm going to get both locations. You can see that could be a nice power to have. And then some of them are just going to give you victory points. For every basket I have at the end of the game, 5 victory points. For every one of these blue cards I'm able to get, 5 victory points. For every endorphin I have at the game, 1 victory point. So early on in the game, you're probably going to take the power, and then later on in the game, you'll probably take the scoring opportunities. And that's just another decision that you're going to have in this game. And that's a quick overview of how you play Five Peaks. Who should buy this game? Anybody looking for a tight little nature walking game. It reminds me of Toccata a little bit, but more intensity, of course. What you're going to be doing is you have options on your turn. I think kids can play this, and I think you could play this with your gamer buddies, and it works with both equally because it's just an enjoyable experience. This is what I would tell you probably never heard of. check this one out. This is one that you've missed out. I'm easily going to recommend this for nearly anyone.